A Metaphor for Mercer. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James. I'm sharing my journey of writing a novel in under 90 days, and today is day 20. So for the past 20 days, I've been writing a Western. I've always wanted to write a Western, but I didn't have a lot of material to work with. So I am using a course that I developed earlier this year to aid me in my writing efforts so I can write a novel when I really didn't have any material to work with when I started. So I'm on day 20 of that effort. It's going really well. I've made really good progress. I've got characters that I know well. I've got a plot line that's developing in my head in addition to the outlining that I've been doing. So the combination of these two things is really making a nice story come along. So it's going really well. And today I'm going to pick up where I left off yesterday, where my main character, Cole Mercer, he is at a store buying supplies, and he has learned that the storekeeper is getting these special rabbits in that produce a wool, and that has some significance for the person that he's living with now. And so I'm going to pick up where I left off yesterday. So here is the first portion of day 20's writing. So I don't know if $10 is a lot for... I know that $10 is a lot of money. I don't know if $10 is an appropriate amount for Angora rabbits. It could be. I just needed to make sure that they were very expensive. And ultimately that the price isn't going to matter, because this is what Charles was talking about before. And I still want Mercer to be like questionable about what's happening here, but here he's realizing what they're saying and the implications of it. So I have them wrapping up their interaction here, and back to Mercer's horse, and he seems to have an understanding with her at this point, and they decide to go and just sit by the edge of the lake, and the mare can go about eating whatever fun foods that she's able to find there. And here I really wanted to build a metaphor for what Mercer, his life is at right now. So I did that in him seeing a tree growing sideways off of the riverbank. And that the tree, while being a very natural thing, was in a very unnatural place, and it just didn't belong. And so I'm working to describe this tree and have it feel like Mercer feels without saying that. I know I'm saying that now on this video, but I don't want to just tell that thing. I want it to be a metaphor, if not an obvious one. So that's the first part of day 20, where I jump into the metaphor about what Mercer's life is like right now. And so even though he's comfortable, he's coming to this position where he realizes that maybe he's that tree that's in a position where it shouldn't be. He sees Charles's dream. He sees the potential for it that same day, even though I will change that later. And he realizes that he is stuck in between this place that he probably shouldn't be. And so that's what the tree is representing for him here. So let me carry on with the rest of day 20. And so that's the metaphor, is just those couple paragraphs there. And then the horse kind of reminds him like, hey, it's time to go home. So why don't we do that? And then we get I don't need to describe him riding back home. So we get a scene break. And so the next scene is him getting ready to leave. And so trying to keep the descriptions clean and accurate, and have him leaving, and then Charles comes and sees him that he's getting ready, and then they have what will be their last interaction. I know in stories like these, this is generally not how we see the stories being treated. Here we have Mercer basically telling Charles to like take his money and go to town in a couple of weeks, and just to trust him, and then to buy Alice that dress because they seem to have a thing for each other. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. And that way Charles can then fulfill the dream that he envisions. And Mercer can move on with his life. So I like that narrative. It's a feel-good scene and outcome. Again, I need to really come in and add a good wedge of time, a scene that's going to wedge those two scenes apart. So I was mentioning, first I just want to point out that was 20,000 words. So that's great. That's a good progress toward my goal here. I want to point out that we think of these scenes, especially in Westerns and stories like this, where the main character maybe needs an additional motivation, and there needs to be this horrific thing that happens, and like that's done in, like, we have this peaceful tranquility, which that's redundant. We have this peaceful setting, and a lot of times what happens is the antagonists or the villains will come through and either disrupt or completely destroy that peace, and then that's the motivation for the hero or the protagonist to jump in and really go take care of business with the bad guys. I didn't want that here. I wanted this to be just a place where Mercer finds his own peace, but he realizes that it's not his place to stay in, that he has these unresolved things that he needs to go address to then find his own being in his own way, and not to destroy this wonderful thing that he has experienced. So that was my goal here. And I wanted him to walk away from this peaceful place with it being whole and carrying on. So a little different than you might see in some stories like this. So with that, let's do today's line of the day. It was a thing out of existence, not belonging to either space it simultaneously inhabited. So again, we're looking at the tree that Mercer is watching, or just observing on the side of the lake, and just that it being an odd thing, even though it should be a very natural thing. And I think this line tells that very well. So tomorrow is day 21, officially 3 weeks in, and this writing project is going smoothly. I hope that it continues to do so. But yeah, tomorrow is officially 3 weeks in. If you're enjoying watching me write this novel, or you're just curious about what writing a novel looks like in the moment, just like and subscribe, and continue to watch me write this novel. So I'll see you tomorrow on day 21. So for the past 20 days, I've been writing a novel that I know what I want to say, I think.